recording. Yeah. So previously we were talking about a formatting, but again we were using this fill or font color. Yeah. So where we change the color of the text or we change the color of the background of our cells. So you could just check it again and say, if you want the color to be maybe this, yeah, so you can see the background is that, the background of our colors. But if you want the font number to have a different color, you could go and say this, right? So the font has a different color, and again here also the background has a different color. But again, there's now a different formatting where you use what we call conditional formatting. Conditional formatting here. Yeah. So let's give ourselves maybe some data. You can use what we had previously. Let me just delete review. So view. Let me unfreeze the pens and delete all this information. So up to this. And okay. So instead of this, let me say wait. Wait. So name. So name we might not need so that we save on time. So male, female, F, M, sorry, M, then this is F. Learn to copy something, maybe up to this place. We have 20 information there. So age is 20, 30. So for the purpose of just demonstrating, yeah, we have them there. And also now we can limit our, so actually this one can be the weight. So then this one becomes the age. And then we say maybe 23, somebody is 46, 78, 34, 45, 63, 62, 23, 40. There is Q3, 34. Yeah, just think of them randomly that way. So what you want to do is now conditional formatting. We could even add name. We could add Brian, we could add Mbodza, we could add James, we could add Maina, we could add Boniface, we could add who else? Derek, we could add Nanjala, we could add Mariwa, who else? John, Karaoke, we have Mark, Jasper, Collins, we have Shadrach, Githui, Jonte, Kevo, we have Maxwell. Yeah, so we have this one. So we want to do what we call conditional formatting. So if you check here, there's this thing called conditional formatting, and there are different rules. So we want to highlight cells when then you specify the rules that are there that you want to appear. So for example, here we can highlight maybe our table and say, so what are the rules that you want to highlight? So first you can see, of course, it has done some highlighting or what, but that is not what you want. Let's first cancel and highlight this one. So we want this one to format our weight or age, or let's format age. So we come here to conditional formatting and highlight cells. So we want to see those people who are greater than, so here you input a color, you input your rule. So format cells that are greater than, maybe those who are older than 45. We want to format with with a certain color. What's happening with my, I'm having some problems with my link today, with my Excel. But anyway, so we want to format those ones, the people that are greater than 45. And then here you can choose the color that you want to appear. So you want to fill it with maybe yellow fill with dark text, dark yellow text, or you want to give it a red text, or you want to give it a red border, right? Or you want to give it a what? Green fill with dark green text. Yeah, there's an issue. It's also even highlighting edge. Format cells that are greater than, yeah, so 45. So you can see, let me check this out. Okay. Yeah, so you can see that those who are greater than 45 have been highlighted here. So we have Mbodza, we have James, we have Derek, we have Karaoke, supposed to be Karaoke. But anyway, Karaoke has been highlighted. We also have maybe another couple here, Shadrach, Githui, Jonte, and also Mark. So that is a quick way of also doing what we call conditional formatting. You could also highlight and maybe say you want to highlight those who are, let's see what conditional formatting here. Those who are less than maybe something like those who have weights that are less than 70. So if you weigh less than 70, we want to highlight you with a given color, right? And here you can see it's highlighted with light red fill with dark red text. Yeah. So the only people that are less than 70 is Brian, Bodza, James, and Maina. Yeah. So James, Maina, Bodza, and Brian, those are the people that are having weight that are less than 70. So a quick way of just to enable you to spot maybe some of the features that you want. For example, you are working with a list of the incomes that a certain group of people earn, right? And so you want to see those who are maybe earning less than a certain amount of money. So the quick way for you to identify that, instead of just going through every income level one by one, the only way for you to do, or maybe the quickest way for you to understand that, is by doing what you call conditional formatting, right? So conditional formatting gives you, yeah, it returns the result a little bit quicker as compared to you skimming through your data set, so that you identify the criteria, the information that you want. Something else, we could also even highlight those people whose names begin with a certain letter, right? Someone speaking. So pay.
Repeat, repeat. I want to say something, please.
If you want to.
Just repeat. I wish to see it clearly.
Oh, okay. First, to see what I was talking about, am I to see these points?
I want to see, for example, now, if I go to my Excel sheet
Mm-hmm.
and so, for example, I've selected the bar for weight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this one,
Then
the
I
weight.
come, yeah, that's according to the data that I have on my side.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go to
Conditional formatting.
conditional formatting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at which point do I introduce now my rule? For example, data less than 100.
Your own rule.
Yeah.
See, you select where you can check here if you see highlight cell rules, right?
Yeah.
They are here greater than, less than. Si kuna hii pia ya less than. So you could click on less than and give
Wait a
the
minute.
okay.
Less than.
Yeah, just redo that. So I've selected the data that you want to format. And so you come here to highlight cell rules, right?
Oh, yeah.
So highlight cell rules here, and then there are these two arrows. You can see them there. That means like there are more information that is contained within this highlight cell rules that you're seeing, right? So you come here and say, you wanted less than?
So for example, no, from my data, I started from 120, then I dragged.
Also, you want to see the ones that are less than something, right?
Yeah.
So you just come here and click less than, and type here the value that you want. Maybe less than 66. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Or maybe let me say less than 101. And then here you can choose which color do you want to give it. So do you want a light red field with the dark red text? Do you want a yellow field with the dark yellow text? Green field with dark green. So it's you to check which one you want. But you can also just custom format. Come here and custom format. Let me go back and tell you. So you can come here and click custom format. Are you seeing here for custom format, so that you choose your
Yeah.
own color that you want?
Okay.
This is not to Soipay, this is for everyone. So custom format, and then when you come here, you can choose how the font is going to appear. Do you want bold? Do you want italic? Do you want regular? Right? And then once you've done that, you could also come here to border. How do you want the border for the highlighted texts to appear? And then you could give it a color for the border. Maybe you could give it this yellow or something. Then fill is the color that is going to be contained inside the background color of the text of the cell, sorry. So we could give it maybe a different color, like maybe this one. And then pattern style, if you want to do the same pattern color, if you want to do that. But so we could click on here, okay. And then you can see now what is happening with our colors. So kuna hizo colors tumepeana. Yeah, this one is affected because initially tulikuwa na certain colors. But yeah, so we've selected, you can see like we've defined maybe the color that we want. Instead of relying on, we go to this and then conditional format, and come here and click on less than, and then rely on the colors that we've been given by this. So you can also decide which colors do you want for yourself, right? So here you could maybe say less than, if there's less than 140, 170, yeah, you could say it's okay. Yeah, so that is conditional formatting, where you choose your own. You can even choose your own, create your own rules. Sorry. So let me format page so that it goes back to how it was. Yeah, so pay now, you can mute. Are you good now?
Yeah, very much good.
Okay. Any question again on that before you do another set of formatting? Kindly mute, Soipei.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I wanted to also not really mute, but conditionally format this one. So conditional format, and then you could also see still when you are here at highlight cell rules, then there is where you say text that contains. You can see here there is text that contains. Yeah. So you could also say we want to highlight a text that contains, maybe you want a certain name, or maybe you want a certain letter. So we want text that contains B. Text zote that contains B, kindly highlight them for us. You can see already Brian, Bodza, and Boniface is highlighted. But how about those that contains A? You can see Brian, Bodza, James, Maina, Boniface, Nanjala, Mariwa. How about those that contains O? Bodza, Boniface, John, Collins. Contains S, James, Jasper, Collins. You can see here. So contains an E. There are 4 people: James, Boniface, Derek, and Jasper. So once you click OK, then you have all that. You have that information. Okay. Kuna wengine wako hapa: Jonte, Kevo, and Maxwell. Yeah. So that is also another formatting that you could also be looking at. So conditional formatting. Are we together? Nani, Mariwa, are we together? I saw somebody like Mariwa here. Unless is that here? Okay. Emily, Tihamwe,
Yes.
are we together?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. Who else? Steve?
Yeah, we are together.
Okay. Hillary? Yeah, Hillary, good. Joel? Kamau? Yeah, Derek, you seem to have a question. Or you are saying you're good?
No, sorry.
Okay.
I'm okay.
So that is conditional format. Winnie, your hand is up. I'm seeing a hand that has been raised since a while ago. Do you have a question?
No, I have no question.
Oh, yeah, okay. Let's lower your hand. Unless you're praying. Okay. So I think maybe something else that you could do. Let me also again just get it back. Yeah. So something else. There are other rules here for conditional formatting. So where instead of yeah, let me just again do another one. So we have these numbers. So we want to format and see conditional formatting and use maybe data, what we call data bus. Yeah. So you can see here, and let's see the gradient fill which we want to use. Yeah. So what do you think those data bus does? Let me hear somebody explain. Probably this one is it's not visible sana. Let's use a different one, a different data bar. It might not be visible. Let's use this one. Okay, yeah. So I am on my weight column, the edge column. So how can you explain data bar? The data bar, the one that we're using here for conditional formatting, the data bus. So what can you see? What can you say from this? That what it does, the data bus. Let's hear from you. Hudson, tell us something. You just explain what you're seeing. We need to get done with the conditional formatting in the next 3 minutes. So Amos is saying that database gives information at a glance. Database help give information at a glance. Hudson?
Yes. So I think the database
They help you to quickly understand the value of the cell by displaying the bars. So I think the length of the bar corresponds to the value of the cell.
Yeah, so definitely, thank you. What you can see here is at 90, the bar is full, which definitely means that 90 is the highest value that we have in terms of age. So when you look at the data bars, you can actually quickly tell like which is the largest value. Let me try to enlarge it up so that you people see it. Yeah, you can see 90. Yeah, 90 is having like is occupying the largest. I mean, it's all filled. That is because like it's the largest. Then when you come from 90, you go to 78. You can see 78 there. After 78, I think we have some 67s here. After that, you have 62. After 62, then we have other values, the 56, the 54 that I'm seeing here. So with the least being, I think 12. Oh yeah, so we have 12 here and 12 here. So data bars, you can quickly see like what is the highest, what is the lowest value. I mean, but this is very necessary if you have data that is not very huge. So if you have like 100 responses and then you want to use a data bar and then you have to scroll even trying to look at which one is fully filled, right? It won't make sense. So in that case, what you are going to be doing is you need to sort. So you see like which is the highest value, right? But conditional formatting is just necessary for you quickly at a glance see what it is that you want to see, right? Something else similar to maybe color scales. Let's use color scales for this side and say color scales. So you can see color scales. Are you seeing what is happening? So the more we go towards like the highest value, the more it gets concentrated. Yeah. So you can see up at 20, value kidogo, you come to 282, which is like the highest value, then it's more green. Yeah. But that is depending on what we chose as the color. So color scales here, we could use this, we could use this other one, we could use this. So depending, so up at 20, as we move towards 282, the danger zone, right? With the middle ones being more lighter. So this is like a marriage between the green and the red. That's why we are having this color here in the middle point, in the middle. Yeah, so that is that on conditional formatting. Unless we do another one here and say that top light fill format cells the trunk in the top. Yeah, so you can see top. So format cells that trunk in the top. So you can see here top. Let me say top 4. Still 282 will be the one that is in the top 4. So there is top 4%. So this one, the one that is talking about top or bottom, is which are those values that are occupying the bottom 10%? Which ones are those that are occupying the bottom at the top 10%? Let's check it with this one and see the values. Of course, it gets you 282. Like in terms of how big they are, which ones are occupying the top 10%, which ones are occupying the top, even the bottom 10. Let's see if there is one that is occupying the bottom 10. Bottom 10%, it's telling us 20 is there. Let's see if we change this to 50. Yeah, so once you get it to 50, you can see that 142, 126, and the others are also now included. So that is bottom 50. How about bottom what? Bottom 30 peke yake. You can see 80, 67, 45, and all that. Those are the ones that are playing in terms of the evaluation. Yeah. Any other one that you might need to? So icon sets, color scales, and data bus, they work more or less like the same or something. Yeah. Any question before we look at formulas? Somebody with a question? Yes? So once you want to, probably you may want to clear these rules, right? You can just select the columns that you have the condition of formatting and come here and say clear rules. So you can say either you want to clear rules from selected cells or you want to clear from the entire sheet, right? So you could just say clear from the selected cells. So we don't have any formatting rule here. Yeah. Are we good up to there with the formatting? Thumbs up if you're good, thumbs down if you aren't. Hilary, Steve, thumbs up. Joel, Hudson, Bodza, Eileen, Ross, Amos, Brian, Soipe is good. Any thumbs down? Derek is good. Yeah, kwa class, don't fear to ask a question. That is the last thing you should do. You're going to be doing more harm to yourself, right? Yeah, and yesterday we gave an example of the cells data set that we created. Okay, now let's talk about something here called formulas. So kindly name any formula that you know that we can use in Excel. You name it, we talk about it. Before I go back to the dataset that we were using yesterday. Any formula that you know? Type or just unmute and say. Max. So Brian is talking about max. Yeah, there's max, and so if there's max formula, then there's mean. Anybody else? So there's max, there's mean. Another? Yeah, let's type. We are not aware of any formula or functions. Count if. Nanjala is saying count if. Count if. Somebody else? Sum if. So there's sum. I'm seeing sum there, and I'm also seeing sum if. Ingine. There's Nanjala is saying if. Any other formula that you, any other function? So sum if, I'm saying sum product. Yes, there's sum product also. Another one? Another function? Counter. Yeah, there's counter. And if there's counter, then there's count. Any other? I've not seen a comment from, let me see, if somebody hasn't written anything. Anatuambia. Eileen, tell us any function that you know in Excel. Hudson is saying VLOOKUP. Eileen? HLOOKUP. Mbodza is saying HLOOKUP. We waited for Eileen to say something, but Kamau, tell us any function that you know in Excel. Ross is saying mean. So Ross is saying mean. If there is mean, there is also average. And if there is average, there is average if. And if there is average if, what else? There are so many. There is concat. Is it concat or concatenate? Yeah. Let's see the ones that we can cover today. But for you to know a formula or a function in Excel, just type is equaling to, and then start writing something. So let's start with A. So if you look at, we've typed A, all these ones are functions. There's even and, you can see there's this and, right? There's assign, H, whatever, average. Yeah, there's average if, sorry. What is this? Yeah, you can see that there is average if, and there is average ifs, which is something that we are also. So there is some if, there is also some ifs. So we'll talk about them. We'll also look at COUNTIFS. So COUNTIFS and all these ones, and all the other formulas that you could think of. There are other formulas like trim. There are other formulas like left. There are others like right. There's also what? Yeah. Anyway, those ones. But when we'll be talking about data cleaning, you'll see us using some of them. So which one should we start with? The easiest for some people. Okay, so here we are talking about this, the weights. So if you want to know the maximum weight, the topmost weight here, of course you just type is equaling to max. Yeah, even match is a formula, is equaling to max, right? And then in bracket, and then you highlight what you want to then close the bracket. Yeah, it will tell you that the maximum weight is 282. Similarly, if you were to look at the minimum weight, then it could be, always start your formula with nini, minimum, and then minimum weight, and then we just run that through and say the minimum weight is equaling to 20. So you can see minimum weight equaling to 20, maximum weight is equaling to 282. You can also just do max is equaling to max. So if you have maybe just three numbers, so 23, 45, 0.7, you have these numbers, 6, and then you're asking like nini. So between all these numbers that I have here, what is the maximum number? You can see it's telling you it is 45. So 45 is the highest highest number, right? Similarly, you could just come and say is equaling to minimum 0.8, 0.0001, 0.3, that is 0.5, 23, and then close your bracket, and then say it's telling you that the minimum value amongst these is 0.001. This one, so 0.001. So that is minimum and maximum. So there are these two, which you could highlight and say they're done. Yeah. So that is minimum and maximum. Something else, yesterday we talked about sum, the sum function. Yeah. And we said you can add two numbers by saying is equaling to. You come here and say, I want to add C10, then you press on plus and say maybe I want to add it with this one. So you say you get it to be 220. But instead of using this, because sometimes you may want to add multiple numbers, come and click on this one again, plus come and click on maybe this plus something else, right? Yeah, so this one works well if they're not in one line. But if they're in one line, you could just come and use the sum function is equaling to sum. Of course, even sum, you could come and select this and put a comma, come and select this, put a comma, instead of putting the plus sign. And then once you are done, close your bracket. You'll get 551. So you can use sum, or you can use is equaling to, yeah. But if you want to add these ones, you could just do is equaling to sum. We are starting with C2. C2, so this is a review of yesterday, what we did yesterday. C2 and up to C19. C19, so you can see it selects. So it gives you 265. So that is a sum function, yeah. And then something else, mean. Yeah, so of course mean, you just type is equaling to mean, and then what do you want to get the mean? You want to get the mean of these numbers, or you want to get the mean of, so we want to get the mean of all these. You can see it's starting from C2 to D19. C2 to D19. Then you, what has happened? We have an error. C2 up to D19. Okay, let me change it to C19 just to check if the issue is. Okay, let's change it to average and see if it's going to give us what we want. Yeah, it's giving us 150. Why is mean not working? Let me change this to D19. Yeah, average. So average is working for us here, getting us the average up to this. Average, or average up to D19, or averaging individually. So average is similarly the same as mean, the mean function. You know what average and mean means. So you get the total, you sum all the numbers that you have, then divide by the total number of numbers. I'll check why this one is not working. It's giving us an error. And also we'll look at errors that you can get in Excel. Again, before we go to average if, we could look at if. Just review if before we go to the ifs, the average if and the sum ifs. Anybody with a question? Ama mwenye ana feel is being left behind, or if I'm too fast? Are we good? Thumbs up. Ama kama yuko you aren't good, you unmute and tell us. Yeah, we start with the basics of formulas. So Ross, I'm saying is okay. Winnie, are you okay? Eileen is okay. 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 Yeah. Now let's look at count before we come back to the ifs. And probably concat. VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, we'll cover them tomorrow. So let's look at count and the counter. So let's say here count function, count. And then let's say here counter. I want to delete something here for purposes of illustration. So you can see here I've deleted something, right? Mark, mail, then there is no information here, then there is 90. So I want to write is equaling to count, then you tab. We want to count this information. Wait, where are we getting it to D12? Oh, okay, yeah. Then we say is equaling to counter. So here we are using count, here we are using counter. Tab, and then highlight this. See what it is telling us. Somebody to explain the difference. Somebody to explain the difference. Who is going to save the class? If you don't volunteer, I'm going to pick somebody. That is the power that I've been given by what we're bounty. That if somebody doesn't volunteer, I pick. Yes?
So I think the difference between count and counter.
Yes.
I only know for COUNTIF.
No, we haven't reached accounting. We are at count and counter. Answer.
So I think count is it counts like it will count how many cells containing the numeric values also. Although I stand to be corrected. And then counter it counts the cells that include texts, numbers, yeah, and maybe dates. So it will count any type of data except for the blank cells.
Sheldon, do you agree or disagree? Sheldon. Are you with us or are you with them? Sheldon is not responding, but I'm seeing a couple of texts here in the comment section. Count picks cells with digits, counter picks all cells. Yes, so Ipe is saying count could have given the number of cells that contain data. Counter gives total number of cells. Counter gives total number of cells. That explanation is missing something. But what Hudson was saying is true. Count will only tell you the number of data cells, the number of cells that contain numeric data. So you can see, for example, here we were counting from, we were checking from A12 up to D12, right? A12 up to D12. So if you check from A12 up to D12, there's only one cell that contains numeric value, and that is why it is returning this. If you look at counter, counter is going to give you everything except the blanks. So you can see here, mark M and then mark M and 90. Are we together? So that is the only difference between between count and counter. You good with that, Mariwa? Have you tried it out, Mariwa? Yes?
I have, yes. I've
Uh,
tried.
it's working.
Yes, it's working.
This one we can dispense with it. Let's look at something else. Let's look at concat. There's this one called concatenate. Let me see what it's called. Concatenate. So I have a column here called first name. And then I have another column here called second name. Then I have here a column that I want to call full name, right? So first name is Hudson. Second name is maybe Hudson Joshua, right? So we want to join these two things so that it produces for us a full name. Yeah. I want somebody to display their screen and use concat function. I want to select. Kindly display your screen and andika tu hizi vitu nimeandika, then join it for us. I want to who is this? I know people are sending prayers to the Lord that they don't be picked, but we'll pick you either way. Hillary. Yeah, Hillary, present. It's just a 1 minute thing, not even 20 seconds. Hillary.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, present and join for us this thing. Use concatenate function.
Let me finish typing.
No, it start presenting.
Okay, let me finish typing first. First name.
Don't start practicing it. You just come and present it here.
Wait. Second name. And was it last name?
No, full name.
Full name.
There's
Okay.
no last name. So here is where we want you to do for us the start presenting.
Okay. Okay. We haven't finished writing it, but okay.
Present.
Just a few. Is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
So, what am I supposed to concatenate?
Yeah, so
okay, so the name.
Yeah, so pengine the first name there is Hudson.
Hudson.
Yeah. Then second name is Joshua. Joshua.
So here is where I use it.
Yeah, that is where you use the concat. Concatenate is equaling to.
Oh,
yeah, it's
not this one. Not this one.
Delete that.
Oh, this one.
Yeah,
this one.
Yeah, that is what we understand. Yes.
I use the cells. I don't know how to do it. Can I use
those
like
cells?
C8 and then comma or column? This comma.
You are the
Okay. I okay. Let me just try this. D8. That way.
Yeah. Now you're seeing. Now,
it has joined the names.
It has joined, but now hatuna nini. Names zinakuwa na space between
them. Oh, space, yes.
So tell us how we want to introduce the space.
Can we add it manually? Oh, okay. Let me. Okay, I don't know how to add the space.
Anybody who knows how to add the space?
Maybe. What if I do this? I add like do like that? Can it work?
Try. We don't know.
Okay. It doesn't work. Anyone who knows how to do it can help me.
Somebody who knows how to do that. Mariwa. No, Mariwa, I've been calling you. You've not been responding.
I have. Bonfas.
Okay. What is like? Can you help him solve that?
I'm also stuck there.
Have you tried?
Yes, I've tried the concat one, and it still gives the concat,
Okay.
not concatenate,
Okay.
and it is still giving me. There's no space. It's not giving me space.
Yeah, I've seen Nani's hand is up, but we'll give it to another person. Steve, help a brother.
No, I'm in the same quagmire, just that way.
I mean, it's just a simple thing. Let me see who else here can be a sacrificial lamb. Nathan Kiprop. Anyway, Hudson, your hand was up.
Yes.
Yo.
So what you do to add the space, you have to add a opening and closing speech marks between in your formula now. So Hillary, what you need to do,
Yes.
just click on the formula I show you. So after C8, after that comma now,
Yes.
add opening and closing speech marks.
Like that.
Then comma.
Should there be a space between here? Here. Or I just leave it like that?
I think there should be a space. Huh?
Try it first, then you go
Okay.
back to
Let me try this. Okay. Nothing.
Yeah, I'll put a space up.
Oh. Yeah, there's a space.
Yeah.
So if you put more spaces between your parentheses, just go back to the parentheses. Okay, click Eka to space mingi. Yeah. Now can you click enter? Now you can see.
Oh.
Yeah. So that is what is that was the simple stuff. Yeah, you can stop presenting.
Okay.
Thank you for teaching us.
Welcome.
Yeah, so that is concatenate. I think everybody else also you're good with that. Valentine, it has worked, eh? And Steve, you are in a quagmire. I hope you're not in a quagmire anymore. Yeah, so just say is equaling to what? Concatenate. And then what you want is this. So sometimes you could even have like a long list of things that you want to write. But if I do this, it won't bring for me because again of what I've included here. So you put a comma, then you can now add your parenthesis and add a space between it and say that is we have Hudson Joshua. So that is concat, the concatenate. You'll find people calling it concat, but it's concatenate. So that's done. There is now something called sum product. Let's look at this one. Sum product. Insert. So sum product. I'm writing that formula here on purpose. Is equaling to sum product array 1 is this one, comma array 2 is this one. So what do you think sum product does? So what sum product does is, it takes 20 times 23, then plus 30 times 56, then plus 45 times 78, plus 67 times 34, 80 times, right? That is what we call sum product. So it is summing the product, right? So instead of that, I think there should be, let's see, this is equaling to product. You see? So we could also say there's a formula called is equaling to product, which is used for multiplication. Yeah. So instead of just writing normally how to multiply, you just write is equaling to product and then what it is that you want to. So then you go down here. So we've multiplied this 20 times 23 to come out 460. 30 times 56, we get this. So let's sum what we've gotten here so that you see what so is equaling to sum. So we want to sum this multiplication that we've done. I've omitted this one because it's the sum product one, right? So you can see, why are we having 109 sum E2 to E19? E2 to E19. 109, 114. Yeah, so I think they're okay. Let me reduce this one this way and see if it's part of yeah, there's some slight difference here, but basically what sum product does, it takes 20 times 23 multiplies and then sums all that information and then it gives you the answer here. Yeah, just trying to wonder why here we could have a value like, let's say 67, so that we give it yeah, it's because of the blank that you are having here. There's a blank we had somewhere here, right? That is what was causing the difference, because right now you can see the values are the same: 115 054, 115 054. So so here I've first used the product function, multiply all these ones, then finally sum them. But for you to not go through all this hassle, you just type is equaling to sum product and then select the first array. Let's go back to what the arrays are. So I could delete this and say is equaling to sum. So kunakuwa na ile grand total that sometimes we do, right? So hapa ndo hii tunapata the grand total. So if you check here, it's telling you array 1. So provide for us the first list yenye we are doing multiplication with. So the first list we want is this one. What is the second array? Array number 2, this one. If you have array number 3, you add it here. If you have array number 4, unaiongeza hapo. 5, 6, 7. So you could multiply like even 10 columns and sum them mara once, right? But let's check something here and see if it's working for us. Yeah, you see now if you do this sum product and then just provide one array, it's not giving you the correct thing. And probably what it is doing, it is just summing all these things. Let's see. Is equaling to sum, tab, this, and then you say is equaling to sum, then you sum these ones, and then once that is done, you say is equaling to sum of these two. So 34, 37, 34, 37. Yeah. So don't make a mistake of saying sum product and then you highlight. You can see here we have highlighted all of it, just given one array, right? But what you need to do is you highlight the first array here, comma, then come and highlight the second array here. so that it multiplies 20 times 23, even. Then it gives us the correct answer that we have here. So this is like our value. So that is our grand total value. Anybody with a question there? I believe we should be good. Anybody with a question? So that we strike this off. So some product done. Delete. So okay, there's something else. You're seeing here there's trim function. So trim function, before I say what trim does, somebody to tell us what trim function does, or what do you mean by trimming something? From the basic knowledge of trim, what do you mean when you want to trim something? Winnie, your chance to shine. What do you mean when you want to trim something? T-R-I-M.
Okay, trimming is like cutting part of something, cutting out a part of something.
Yeah, cutting out part of something. Yeah, perfect. That's the correct response, that you are cutting part of something. So here in Excel, what we may want to cut is extra spaces. Sometimes when you are typing maybe name, so for example, when you are typing kama hii, and then instead of just putting one space, so we instead of putting just one space, we put extra spaces. Yeah, instead of putting one space, we ended up putting extra spaces. So you can see how Hudson Joshua is. So Hudson Joshua is having it's having extra spaces, right? So what happens is we can say, let us trim is equaling to trim. Which text do you want to trim? We want to trim the text that is occupying M12. Now you can see it has reduced the number of extra spaces that we had here. You can see, so it's back to 1. So basic understanding, that is what trim does. Yeah, that is what happens when you're trimming your data set. Why you need to trim is sometimes when you're going to be performing analysis, and then you wrote male, but then put an extra space there. For you, you will not see it. But when you write again male without an extra space, they are going to be two different things. So here, of course, here I think we have that extra space. You can see where the cursor is starting with. So let me reduce it so that there is this male with one extra space, and then there's this male without an extra space. So these are two different things. Yeah, let me just try to see. So male 1, male 2, and try to say that let me just try something and see if it's, yeah, you see, are you seeing when I'm trying to insert a chart? So here it's because if you check this male ya kwanza, there is an extra space where the cursor is starting. Are you seeing where it is blinking? There is one extra space. But if I come to this, kindly enlarge your font. Yeah, let me enlarge my font. I might enlarge my screen. Yeah, or I reduce it to this, and then say you wanted an enlarged font so that I enlarge it this way, or put it there, and then copy that format to this one. So you can see it, it's a little bit bigger, but let's check if we still have the extra spaces. Yeah, so if you check this mail is not having an extra space. This one is having an extra space where the cursor is starting to blink. So that when you're going to do your data analysis, and suppose you want to insert a chart, you come here and say insert, and then say you want to insert now this chart. You can see here, Control Z, you can see here that we have two different things. We have mail 1 and we have mail 2. And then you'll be asking yourself, like, why is this issue? Are we together? So you pay, please mute. Okay. Yeah. So you pay. You have a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I will be so I don't know, selfish or whatever. But I was lost from connect function. There was an interruption of power here. You can just give me a summary of what you've been doing, so that because I'm just back and I'm seeing you already doing paragraphs, charts, whatever.
Okay. That section is not very huge. You'll go to the video and cover just that, because it's not linked to what we are doing here at trim. Yeah. So it's just a
Okay.
2-minute thing.
Now,
But here what we are talking about is, we are talking about a trim function. But before we talk about that trim function, we have to say that sometimes you can be typing, but by mistake you put extra spaces within your data. But if you look at mail here and mail here, they seem to be the same thing, right? So that is where now a function called trim comes in. And now I was doing this chart so that you see that this mail and this mail are not the same. So even if we add it here in E2, they are not the same thing. So there is this mail and then there is this mail. But in your expectation will be that they are the same. They are the same thing. So they are not the same because we have an extra space. So for us to clean that extra space, we use a function called trim. This one. So we say is equaling to trim then you're asked, like, what is the text that you want to trim? I want to trim this text. Sorry, it's appearing up to here. I want to trim the text that is contained in cell number M12. And then I say enter. So it has cleaned it. So if I had a list of texts, then I could just drag that formula down. Sorry, Control Z. I will just drag it down upper. And yeah, I could just drag it down so that it's going to so here, of course, Hudson is here. Let me copy this, copy and paste here, copy this and paste it here. So if you check right now, so if I drag this formula down, let's check now this mail. Let me copy and paste it, paste special. So you paste without, so paste P, it's going to paste without the formula. So let's wait. Why is it giving me some funny stuff? Yeah, paste V, not paste P, paste V. So if I click here, mail, and then type, you can see that Nini is starting at, I'm not having an extra space there. If I look at this one also, I'm not having an extra space here, right? That is because the trim function has cleaned for us that what we had. So there's trim function. Let's delete these ones. Okay, so trim is gone. So let's talk about left and right. So let me create, say maybe 46, 4, 5, 7, 6, 7, 8. Okay, why am I being redundant? Okay, or even without doing this, okay, let me try and see if I can change it to long date. What can we say? Okay, yeah, registration numbers of students. Let's work with the registration numbers of students. So for example, when I was in doing statistics, ours was I-63. My registration number was stroke 41. I'll maybe miss out the others. I-63 stroke 417, and maybe put for you 75, and then stroke what? 2012. So when you first joined in 2012. Anyway. So this is a registration number, and you want to pick a certain you want to pick some specific values from this registration number. So if you check maybe this one, the last value here, it is for year. And if you pick maybe this one, I-63, it tells you the specific course code. So I-63 was statistics, IO7 was actuarial science, IO9 was pure math, and what else? Yeah, I think those are the only ones that I can remember because we were interacting in the classes. So I want to pick the first three letters, the first three information that I have here, so that I know which course is it. So probably you have a list of registration numbers of students. Yeah, you're gonna have a very long list, and then now you want to pick the first three letters. So there is where you use a function called left. So you can say is equaling to left, yeah, and then text. So which text do you want to pick the values from? You want to pick it from the text that is contained in N8, comma. How many number of characters do you want? I want 3 characters. Then I say enter. So if I check here, yeah, so I had I-63, so it is picking I-63. So left N8, comma 3. So 3 is specifying like the number of characters you want. Text, where do we get the text from, right? And then probably you want the year in which this person is, the year in which this person was studying. So you say, the year they first got into the institution. So you say is equaling to right, is equaling to right, then text, you want to pick it from this one, comma, how many number of characters do you want? So somebody to tell me how many number of characters do you want? Mbodza, how many number of characters do you want here? We want to select the number of, we want to know the year in which a student got into the institution. From this registration number, how many texts do you want? How many characters do you want? Somebody to say. Mbodza is saying 4. Yeah, so 4. And then enter. So now we know. So probably you gave it a title here as course code. And then year joined. So from here, registration number, reg number. What is up with my, today Excel is playing a zonto with me. But yeah, I think if you have tried it, you can see that it's working, right? Control Z. So registration number, reg number. and then now you have a course code I63, year joined 2012. So if I had registration numbers here, IO7, IO7 stroke maybe 564 stroke 2019, and then I have a couple of them. Let me see if I can generate anything here. Yeah, so I've generated some numbers here. So I can drag down, and also I can drag this one down. So it is speaking for me. It's telling me this student joined in 2019, this other one joined in 2013, huyu mwingine joined in 2020, hivyo na hivyo na hivyo. So you know when those students joined, and then you also have their course code. So once you are here, you can also say course name, and here is where now we can introduce if. So we can say is equaling to if the course code is I63. I think Kappa we are going to use okay, wait. If course code is equaling to, okay, yeah, if course code is equaling to I63, let me try it out and see if it's working. I'm just trying to, then we give it statistics. We call it statistics. Then comma, value if false. So because we just have two things, if false, let's call it actuarial science. Actuarial science. Let me see if it's working. Okay. Why is it saying actuarial science? So I63. Let me drag it down and see. There's an issue. Let me see if it needs to be put in a bracket. There's an error there. So value if true, logical test. So where are we making the mistake? Okay. It's changing. I'm seeing it changing. Yeah, we're just trying to think of a way in which you could lock this I63 or something, but it's not working. But need me to think through again. Yeah, so that we have statistics or actuarial science. Let me try to see if this is going to work. No, that is not working. Yeah, let's use a different value to talk about the if. This one is bringing issues that you might need to review. I might need to review, sorry. But basically that explains trim and left. Before I look at another example where we can use the if. We used one yesterday. Let's use if with these weights. Insert. Okay, so let's say if somebody is less than 60, then let's say that this person is underweight. Is less than 60 the correct one? Let's maybe say if somebody is weighing less than if weighing less than 80, let's say that they are underweight. But if they are weighing greater than that 80, then we say that they are overweight. So you want to see the people that are overweight here. Yeah, let's use the if function and say, so under stroke overweight. Yeah. So and say is equaling to if this one is if the value contained in cell C2 is less than, is less than 80, then we say this person is overweight. So hapa unatumia the opening and closing. So underweight, sorry. Underweight. And then it's asking you value if false. If it is false, then we say overweight. I hope this one is going to work. Value is overweight. Yeah. You can see here, so we can drag it down and see. Okay, yeah, you can see here. You can see Brian is weighing 20, so his weight is less than 80. So Brian is underweight. So Brian might need to eat or maybe exercise, build muscles. So hapa pia tunaweza fanya maybe you could highlight, or maybe you could do conditional formatting so that you see those people that are underweight ni akina nani. So here Boniface is also underweight. Boniface is weighing how much? 80. Boniface is weighing 80. We might need to correct, because we have said less than 80, but if we say it's false, then it means greater than 80. So what were 80, weighing exactly 80 are being left out. So we could say less than or equaling to, yeah? Less than or equaling to 80. Less than or equaling to 80. So here we've corrected the nini. So you could drag it back and say now we can drag it down again. Yeah. Yeah, so it explains. So if your weight is less than or equaling to 80, yeah, less than or equaling to 80, then we are going to call you underweight. Otherwise, you are overweight. So let me see the overweights here. Derek, you are overweight. You are 95 kgs. So check on your weight. Similar thing, can you do it with age and say if somebody is less than a certain age, they are underage, right? Or if they are greater than a certain age, ni wazee. But before you do that, anybody having a question on the if function? Yes, this one is not working because, yeah, because of the I. We have, I think maybe probably because it's a string kind of. Yeah, unless this one I wrote it wrongly. This is I. I don't know why it did not work. Might need to be corrected. If it doesn't, we'll check it. But anyway. Yeah, somebody is raising their hand. Any question? Just unmute.
Yes, so I had like is it a suggestion?
Yes.
For the one you're saying it's not working, maybe it's because the logical, it's called the logical what?
Test.
The logical test there is not there. So maybe you can put if that cell equal to I63.
Yeah,
then
initially I wrote I63. This one.
So according to the way you have done it for the underweight and overweight, you have put that specific cell for the formula. Kindly go back to the formula.
This one.
Yeah, you have put C2 equal to, yeah, less than or equal to. So maybe here you can put equal sign.
Okay, but let me see. If if C2. Okay, probably.
If now this cell For this
what?
case, it
It's
won't
P.
it will be P, yeah.
Is P8. Okay. Yeah, probably this is why I was not getting. But let's check if it's going to work. So if P is equaling to, does this contain string? Let me see if it's working with this. Okay, yeah. So that is it. So if P8, yeah, thank you, Hudson. If P8 is equaling to so you use the parent, you use the speech marks. So if P8 is equaling to quotes, how many speech marks, I63, then call it statistics. Yeah. If otherwise, then call it actuarial science. Yeah. So, I don't know why I was not even checking the referencing. Yeah. So otherwise, this one is actuarial science. So in this way, but again, this works with the values that are just two. Because I'm seeing if logical test, value if true, and then, so it is like logical, it's either, it's taking two values, right? So it's either one or the other. So value if true, value if false. So if we had like multiple courses here, then we might need another formula to talk about the same. So this one you could do it that way, and then that makes sense. So with overweight, you could also have underage. There's a song that was once there, like Kumbeni and 18. So you could think of it underage stroke adult, and then calculate something using this age. So you also put how do you end up?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, I heard it. I had an issue with now, for example, the ifs. I think I didn't get the ifs. Now, if you do once you have done the equal sign and you've typed ifs, I didn't get how you come up with this kind of text.
This text here.
Yeah. I didn't understand it, so I will wish to understand the ifs.
Okay. So let's repeat this.
You can now do an example maybe with age so that I can get.
That's what I want to. So here we have underage. So for the purpose of illustration, let's say that if somebody is aged less than 30 or less than 35, they are underage. By the Kenyan Constitution describes a youth as somebody. A youth is somebody who is up to 35, considered a youth. I believe so, unless I'm reading from a different constitution. But let's say that if somebody is actually, instead of underage, let us just call it youth, so that we are not disrespectful to some of us here. So let's say if you are less than 35, you are a youth. If you are no less than or equaling to 35, you are a youth. But above that, we're an adult. So here is where you start is equaling to if. Hadi hapo uko sawa Soipei?
Niko sawa hapo.
Then you click on tab. There's that thing called tab. So what is the logical test that you want to test? So you want to say, if you are less than 35, less than or equaling to 35, you are a youth. So we say if the value that is here, D2, is less than or equaling to 35. So with the numbers, we don't have to use the
Where did you get this sign of less than in your keyboard?
So less is, are you seeing somewhere where it's written alt?
Yeah.
alt ya the right hand side. On top of it kuna some nini, so kuna mavitu hapo.
Oh, now I understand. I think I have a laptop that's really funny, but it's okay.
That laptop should be taken kule. Yeah. But you can use the on-screen keyboard so that you put that nini, right? Yeah. So that is is equaling to less than or equaling to 35. Sorry, or equaling to 35, comma. What should we say? If you write here youth, I'll just write youth. So value if true, youth. Otherwise, adult. So if you are not less than or equaling to 35, meaning that you're greater than 35, then you are going to say that you are an adult. Then close the bracket and say enter. Now you're getting an error, a name error. The name error you're getting because for strings, you have to put the quotes, is opening and the speech mark, sorry. So you have to do here, do that, and also do this. And come back to this. So value false, and then say, yeah, and do an enter. So youth, and then now drag it down. So let's see the youths. Brian is a youth. Bodza is an adult. James, an adult. Maina is a youth. Boniface, of course, is an adult. Derek is also an adult. Nanjala, Kitovu, Japona, and then Mariwa, similar to Simira is Mariwa is an adult. John and the rest. Anybody else mwenye ako hapa ndani? We don't have any John Max. But yeah, the others are youth. Yeah. So that is the if. So you could look at that formula and see if you don't use the speech marks, then it's going to give you a name error. So there's that. Does that make sense for the if function? Thumbs up if you get it. Thumbs down if you don't. We look at the last formula. Winnie, your hand is up. I don't know whether that is a thumbs up you wanted to do, unless it's a question. Okay. Let's look at another thing. I'm saying it's 18, but there's no question. So I might do the last thing before we break. So let's say count if. So we want to talk about count if. Yeah. So we want to count the number of underweight people. And then so we say, so count if. Let's just count it here. So let's say underweight ni wangapi? No. Yeah, let's just set underweight. So we say is equaling to count if, then you can say range. You can see range here. Range. So we want to count this. Or you could just even highlight it this way. Okay, let's start with this. So count if mpaka hapa. So here is what you want to use. So that is the range. You specify the range in which you're looking for the information. What is the criteria? Underweight. So you want to count the number of people that are underweight. And so you also have to ensure that you've typed the correct thing. So it's telling us that the number of people that are underweight are 6. So you can check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is COUNTIF underweight. Similarly, if you don't use speech marks, it's going to give you a name error. We want to do the same thing, but say those who are overweight. We want to say those who are overweight. Overweight. This one is supposed to count from E2. So you can see here, we are getting 12 people are overweight. Yeah, so we have overweight in 12, underweight in 6. Similarly, you could do the same for youth and adult. What is the proportion of youths that we have? Just delete that and say is equaling to COUNTIF and then this is the range that you want to use, comma, criteria is youth. Criteria is youth. So we have 8 youths. Yeah, I could copy that. What do you mean? Control Z. I wanted to copy and paste it here and say you want to count adult. But then we should be using F2. So adults, you can see we have 10 adults, then we have 8 youths. Yeah, are we together? Then we look at the last thing, COUNTIFs. So this one is done. So you want to look at COUNTIFs. So Hudson is good. I want to see somebody is not good. Kindly unmute or just do a thumbs down. But we've looked at quite. Anybody is not good with that? We look at the last formula, which is COUNTIFs. Let me check if it's going to work. But yeah, there's no harm in trying. COUNTIFs. Now, there's COUNTIF, where we are just looking at one criteria, right? So if you look at this one, what we are doing is COUNTIFs, we just want to count the number of adults peke yake. So we are looking at one range and then looking at adults ni wangapi. But then when you talk about COUNTIFs, you could look for several things. So that is what you check is equaling to COUNTIF, that is COUNTIFs. And then now you can see criteria range 1, criteria. Criteria range 2, criteria. Criteria range 3, criteria 2 or 3. So you can see here criteria range 1. We could say we want to count the number of people who are underweight and they are youths. We could also say we want to count the number of people who are underweight and they are adults. Similarly, we could count the number of people who are overweight and then they are youths. So how many youths are overweight? Because this one we cannot see. This one we just count underweight. We are counting whether they are youths or whether they are adults. But now we could be more specific and say, can I know the number of youths who are underweight? Or can I know the number of adults who are underweight? So let's start with the number of youths. Let's start with the number of youths. So this one, comma. So criteria range 1 we have gotten, comma. What is the criteria? We want to say they are youth. So it is a youth. Youth. So that is, we are done with criteria range 1 and criteria 1, comma. We go to criteria range 2. The next range is this one. And then, so that is criteria range 2, but then what is the criteria? The criteria is they are we want to count the number of youths who are overweight. Okay, let's start with overweight. Overweight. So you see, it's telling us that the number of youths who are overweight are 6. So let's see, overweight 1, overweight and youth 2, overweight youth 3, overweight youth 4, overweight youth 5. Where's the 6th one? So this is underweight. Overweight youth 1, overweight youth 2, overweight youth 3, then overweight youth 4. Am I missing one? Because it's saying here we have 6, F2, then E2, overweight.
Number 12.
Number 12.
12, row 12, yes.
No, this one.
Yes, you didn't count. No, when you are counting manually.
Oh, okay. So we are saying we want youth but overweight. Youth, overweight, 1. Then we have number 2. Then we have number 3, 4. Oh, okay. Then we have 5, 6. Yeah, it's correct. So we have 6 youths who are overweight. Similarly, you could just do the same thing and count for youths who are underweight. And then you're seeing only one youth is underweight. Probably this one. Is it true? No. Yeah, our range is not correct. So range is supposed to be starting from F2. This one is also starting from. So you see there are 2 people. There are 2 youths who are underweight. Number 1 is this one. And then probably the second one is this. Past that, we have youths who are in your Mekula Sana. So that is COUNTIFs. So where you have multiple. So we could even be having another one that maybe they are overweight, and then we even say they are female. Yeah, we could add another condition and say, comma, criteria ni nini, M. So we want to see the number of males who are, number of males, and say M. So here we want to count if somebody is a youth, he is overweight, but his gender is M, is a male. So we have 4. So means six ladies are overweight. No, 2 ladies, because we had a total of 6 youths who are overweight. But now we have 4 who are specifically of the male gender. So 4 are male, 2 are females. You could have another set of condition here. Maybe there was a residence where they are staying, or county, right? So you find out whether are they from Nairobi, or are they. So we want to see those who are overweight, but then they are from Nairobi. So you could have multiple conditions that you are setting, right? So that is where now the COUNTIFs comes. But the COUNTIF only checks for just one specific condition, right? Yeah, we're good. So that we don't stay for too long. Any question? Steve, are we together?
Yeah, we are together.
Okay. Let me check for condition of everyone. I think that marks the end of that. Tomorrow we look at, there are quite a number that you, so some if and some ifs takes the same approach as COUNTIF. So even this if function we've dispensed with. Yeah, we've also dispensed with counter. We've also seen average. No, there's also average if. So I think those ones are have left. We have not done. So there's VLOOKUP and then there's HLOOKUP, which we'll also tackle tomorrow as we look at some if and some ifs. But there could be more functions that we might have not looked at. But this one covers extensively what we have for today. Let me